Panicked NBA execs just sent urgent memo with demand to all owners and players effective immediately. We are getting to them, folks. Hitting their pocketbooks is working. They are terrified of us not spending our hard-earned dollars on their products. It has been confirmed that the National Basketball Association sent a memo out to all 30 teams on Friday, which offered several ways that teams can continue to create a dialogue with their players and the community about the protest movement that has spread across the sports world, and also to make completely sure they know the NBA has an official rule in place stating that players and coaches must stand at attention during the national anthem. The memo was sent by NBA Deputy Commissioner Mark Tatum to the league's owners, team presidents, and general managers. This memo, interestingly, does come on the heels of the league's Board of Governors meeting this week. Here's the tweet. Reinforces national anthem rule and encourages community engagement. Deputy Commissioner Mark Tatum distributed a memo Friday reinforcing a long-standing NBA rule. The NBA National Anthem rule has been in place for decades and was originally set in place in order to make sure players weren't shooting basketballs or stretching while the anthem was being played. In addition to reminding teams about the rule, the memo also stated that teams don't have the discretion to waive the rule or any part of it, and that there will, in fact, be hell to pay if a player doesn't stand at attention for the anthem. Thank you, NBA. We'll see how well you enforce this. Oh, they will enforce it, but it's a little too late to get the people to watch. Yeah, I mean, if they weren't penalized monetarily, they would have never made this announcement. They tried, even the coaches tried to go against standing in respect. WND reports NBA teams suddenly not black enough. How did we get a roster that resembles the 1955 Lakers? A racially charged article by the Minneapolis Star-Tribune is raising eyebrows this week for suggesting the NBA's Minnesota Timberwolves team is not black enough. Yeah, this is ridiculous. The story, titled Timberwolves Pale in Comparison to the Rest of the NBA, was written by Jerry Zgoda and Dennis Bracken, and points out that the Wolves have only 5 black players on a 15-man team, or a 33% ratio. Give me a break. Overall, in 2011, the National Basketball Association featured American-born black players, making up 78% of the roster spots. The paper calls this year's Minnesota roster the league's whitest since the Boston Celtics teams of the 1980s. Local black leaders in the Twin Cities have noticed, according to the Star-Tribune, suggesting the franchise strategically has rolled back the calendar by decades in a league that long has been at the forefront of diversity among America's professional sports leagues. How did we get a roster that resembles the 1955 Lakers? Tyrone Terrell, chairman of St. Paul's African American Leadership Council, told the paper, "I think everything is a strategy. Nothing happens by happenstance." Ron Edwards, a civil rights advocate in Minneapolis, said he found it somewhat disturbing to see only one black player, Wes Johnson, on the floor as he watched a game last winter. He told the paper his sentiments grew stronger as he watched the Timberwolves, what a name, roster grow even more white this off-season. It raises some real questions to me about what's really intended, Edwards said. I think personally that it was calculated. Is this an attempt to get fans back in the stands? Minnesota, after all, is a pretty white state. He added it was a nullification of diversity and a reversal of history. But David Kahn, president of basketball operations for the Wolves, is crying foul, calling the suggestion of pandering to a white fan base patently false. Tuesday night, comedian Conan O'Brien clowned about the team's predominantly white players on his last night TBS show, joking that the owner claims it's not a ploy to win fans, it's a ploy to lose games. Brandon Roy, a three-time All-Star and Minnesota's only expected black star, told the paper he never noticed any racial distinction until a friend mentioned it this summer after he signed as a free agent with the team. It's just basketball, Roy said. I never really had to feel like I'm the only black guy out there. I've played on teams that maybe had all black guys, and the feeling is just the same when I'm out there on the floor playing with these guys. The only problem we have is the weight room arguing over what music we're going to listen to. The racial makeup of the NBA has changed dramatically over the past half century. In 1957, 93% of its players were white. The paper notes that the number of blacks rose in the 1960s, even though many believed there were an unspoken quota system among league owners that former Celtics great Bill Russell, the NBA's first black head coach, once described as you're allowed to play 2 blacks at home, 3 on the road, and 5 when you're behind. The Star Tribune is coming under some heavy fire from its own readers for its article, as many claim it's racist to suggest the team is either too white. The reader, with a handle of Ed Weasel, blasted the authors of the news report, saying they didn't have a problem selling tickets when they only had 3 white guys and made it to the Western Conference Finals in '04. Same owner, same white fans. This isn't the first time you've whined about the number of white guys on the team. Sounds like you're trying to make a name for yourself by stirring up some controversy, because you definitely aren't making a name for yourself with the quality of your writing. With all of that talent and interesting storylines that this team has to offer, you choose to write about their race, said Nexus 612. Thanks for taking us back about 50 years like so many other basketball fans in this state. I cannot wait to see these guys take the floor. Absolutely. Like, who's on the team? The better player. That's basically the bottom line. That's all. And it has nothing to do with black and white in today's day and age. It's sickening that they bring up these issues. It's disturbing, to say the least. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.